Hi guys, welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. Locks here, and today I thought I would do a little review, recap if you like, of the summer transfer window 2025. And yeah, it kind of a roller coaster of a window, to be honest with you. You know, we kind of knew that spending would be limited this season in comparison to previous windows, especially 2 years ago when we were relegated to the Championship. We sold a lot and we spent a lot, and I think this summer was always going to be sell a lot and spend little. If you told me at the very start of the window that we were going to spend £0 on permanent transfers, I would actually, just that we'd only sign one permanent transfer and it would be a goalkeeper, I would have probably told you that I was going to be sat here on the 2nd or the 3rd of September, whatever it is today, miserable and with zero hopes for the season. And even as recent as 2 weeks ago, I was very, very negative and had pretty much no hope. However, the performances so far in the league, especially, I don't really pay too much attention to the cup game against Huddersfield because I just don't think the cup really matters. I don't think the players are kind of there in gear 6 or 7. So with the league games, our performances have been pretty poor. However, we've cut across the line in what, 3 out of 4 of the games. And I think the last game against Birmingham, which was on Friday night, prior to the 3 deadline day signings, we sat there, me, Manny, Anil, I think we sat there and said, look, if we can get 2 or 3 players in this window on deadline day who improve the starting 11, improve the squad, then we're going to have enough. Deductions aside, points deduction aside, we're going to have enough to win enough points on the pitch to get promoted. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, we've done it. We've done it. So before we talk about the incoming, let's just talk about some of the outgoings, right? So James Justin, 10 million quid, or a deal rising to 10 million quid. We've had Leeds pants down. James Justin is no longer a 10 million pound player in my eyes. Maybe if you've got loads of money to spare as a club, then maybe it's not the worst of signings. But this guy isn't a top, a top half Premier League player. I wouldn't say he's a mid-table Premier League player. I would say he's a relegation battle player. I think with the right defenders around him and other players around him, I think he could be okay for them. But £10 million with 1 year left on your deal, we've absolutely got the best side of the deal there. Casey McAteer, look, a homegrown academy product player, and the problem with selling that is, I suppose, if I think of the negatives, this is a player that is wanted to play for Leicester. He knows the club. He's been here since he was 13, I think it was, maybe younger, 12, 11. So it's never nice to see a player who cares about the club leave, especially when there's others who don't care about the club who have stayed. But it's pure profit for PSR, and those 2 deals in particular, we now know, thanks to Rob Dorset, they actually meant that we were compliant with PSR and didn't need to sell anymore in order to comply. So they were 2 massive deals, and I think they're probably 2 of the best deals. They are the 2 best deals of the window in outgoings, because they're players that aren't worth what we got in. McAteer isn't a £12 million player in my eyes. I think we've done Ipswich there, and James Justin, I never in my wildest of imaginations thought that we would get 10 million for James Justin with a year left to go. Bilal El-Khanous, the rat, as you all know, I like to call him that now. But look, in all fairness, emotions aside, he's not a rat. He's a player that was good for Leicester, and I would leave it at good. He was good for Leicester, not great or amazing. He was good, and he's a good player, and he's been here a year. And I never take outgoings well, especially when 1, it's a player that I like, and 2, it's a player that has asked to leave. I never take that well, and I don't think many of us like that, right? But he's gone out on a loan with obligation to buy, so that we've got guaranteed funds there coming in a year's time, rumoured to be £25 million, and then a £5 million or euro loan fee. So that's 30 million in total. And, you know, I don't know what the structure of the 25 coming in next year is, whether it's in one go, whether it's in installments. But at the end of the day, we've made a slight profit on a player that doesn't want to be here, a player that was brought in and then relegated. So that's not the worst deal in the world. And it's quite clear, I think, to all of us now at this point that Martí Cifuentes did not want him around when he didn't want to be here. Now, that actually takes me on to Harry Winks and Wout Faes, who have stayed. You know, I've been listening to the Big Strong Leicester Boys podcast this morning, and they make a very good point that we talk about draining the swamp, but are the players we actually wanted to go still here? They are. You know, Bilal, Cody, fair enough. Justin, you know, are they, Bilal, you know, are they, McAteer, are they draining the swamp? I don't think they are draining the swamp. They're not draining the swamp. Wout Faes, Harry Winks, Daka, Samare, they're still here. They're still here. So the swamp hasn't been drained, but we know that Ayew, we know that Winks, we know that Daka, we know that Samare, all their contracts expire in a year's time. So this is probably the last year. I can't see any of them signing a new deal unless Samare has a 1 in a million turnaround like Vestergaard did last year or 2 years ago. And yeah, but I don't know. The swamp hasn't been drained fully, but again, I've been quite vocal on this. We need some players, right? It's just, I think we could have done with maybe keeping one of the two that went and selling one or two that stayed. But I'm not too concerned. We've got big wages off the books, so I think that's good enough for me. Incomings, Asmir Begovic, don't really want to talk too much about that. We've done it already, but it's a nothing signing. Player who's probably going to play 1 or 2 games, if that, this season. I would say that he could be a future coach at Leicester City, goalkeeping coach. Maybe he's already doing it. We don't actually have an out-and-out goalkeeping coach, I don't think. Maybe the under-21s coach. I don't know. I don't bloody know. But maybe Begovic is gonna either do that role in the future, or he's already doing it. And then the incomings on deadline day, which I am absolutely buzzing about. Let me tell you that now. So I'll start with, in my opinion, my own opinion, the least exciting of the 3, and that is Carranza. That is Carranza, Julian Carranza. So he's a striker from Feyenoord who has scored lots of goals in the MLS, not so many goals in Europe. Now, he's not an out-and-out goal scorer, poacher type of striker. He can play that very well. He's got good movement. He can get in the penalty area and poach and score goals. But he's a physical striker. He's not really tall or anything. I think he's 5'11" or 6 foot. He's not super tall, but he's physical. He's an RG, right? He's an RG. He can put himself about. He's got the aggression. He drops deep, links up play, which we know that Martí Cifuentes has asked of Jordan Ayew, although I don't think you need to ask Jordan Ayew to do that. I think he does it naturally, but you know what I mean. The problem with Jordan Ayew, though, is I think when he does drop deep, he then doesn't get into the box when he's laid it off. He needs to get up. He needs to get from deep to the box, to the 6-yard box even, quickly, and he doesn't do that. And I actually think Carranza will do that much better. Patson Daka dropping in, his first touch is awful, his passing's awful, his dribbling's awful, his physicality's awful, his finishing's okay, but the composure and decision making is awful. So your finishing means nothing if you don't know what to do with it. So Carranza is a bonus to the squad in my eyes. You know, he's not the Vardy replacement. We will never have a Vardy replacement, but he's a striker we desperately needed, and I think he's a profile that Marty will really, really rely on, and I think he starts the next game. That takes me on, and the loan with option to buy. So again, risk-free. It's a loan deal for a year. If he's good, if you like him, you sign him for 5 to 6 million euros. If he's shit, you don't buy him. It's as simple as that. It's pretty easy to do. And they've got a year to find a new striker, right? Next one, I'm doing this in order of my least excited to most excited. Aaron Ramsey, not the Welsh one. We'll talk about the Welsh one in a sec. But Aaron Ramsey from Burnley on loan. No option to buy on this one. He's a player with a very high ceiling, but injuries and game time have let him down in the last couple of years. I think he's had a year out with injury recently. However, like I said, his ceiling's high. He's done it in the Championship for Middlesbrough and I think at Norwich as well. He got 12 goals, I think, or 12 goals and assists with Middlesbrough in that very fluid attacking team that had Chuba Akpom as well a couple of years ago. He's a good player. And losing Bilal El Khanous, we needed a number 10 to come in. And I know that some clubs like Burnley, they've kind of toyed with him out wide and stuff like that. But he's a number 10 in my eyes. He's good in tight spaces. He's got decent acceleration. The problem is the injury. How fit is he going to be? How injury prone is he going to be? But if he does stay fit, I have no doubt that he'll be one of the most creative players in the Championship this season. And I think that's what we needed. And I think that's what we've got if he stays fit. So I'm excited again about this one. No option, which is a bit of a bummer. But you never know. If he has a good year, Leicester City get promoted, maybe they're willing to spend a bit of money. I don't know how much it would cost, 15 million, maybe 20. I don't know. You let me know in the comments below how much you think he would cost. Any Burnley fans as well watching, let me know. And then finally, Jordan James. This one is going to be a hit. You heard it here first. Jordan James is exactly the player we needed in the midfield this season. Watching our midfield this season, I just think we were lacking something, whether it was physicality, whether it was the linking up of play, the ability to get from deep on the half turn and get into the box, whether that's carrying it all yourself or laying someone off and then kind of finishing off the play, arriving late in the box. This boy can do it. He's had a bit of a he struggled in France at Rennes. He went to Rennes from Birmingham, who were reliant at the time for money before the investors came in, Tom Brady and all that. They got 5 million, I think was it, or rising to 9, something like that, euros. So they needed the money and they got it. He struggled in Rennes. I think the first manager that he had didn't really play him too much. The new manager that came in after the first one was sacked played him a bit more, and he had a bit more success. But I'm telling you, a loan with option to buy again for 5 or 6 million euros. This is a fucking deal. This is a deal and a half. I think this guy's going to play every single game for us as long as he's fit. I think this guy's going to play in our midfield every single game from now on, starting with Oxford in a couple of weeks. Physical, likes a fight, likes a bit of a scrap. He's got a big frame, and he puts it about. His passing is incredible. I didn't realise this at the time, but watching it all back, he's got a really good catalogue of passes on him, long, short, over the top, whatever you want to say. He does it all. His dribbling is decent as well. The thing that helps him with the dribbling, with the ball carrying, is his physicality, high energy as well. He can finish as well. He scored a great goal against Leicester 2 years ago. I've seen a few other of his goals as well in his career, and they're good finishes. So I'm not saying this guy is Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I'm not saying this guy is a perfect replacement for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, but what I will tell you is it's the Dewsbury-Hall replacement we needed. We struggled last season with a ball carrier, with a player that would pick up from deep and carry it forward like Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall did for us, especially in the Championship. And you're seeing him do it at Everton now already. And I'm really buzzing that we've got this guy through. There's no Welsh bias here because I was born in Wales. There is no Welsh bias. I don't really like many Welsh players, but I do like Jordan James. I would have loved him a year ago when Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was sold. I thought we could have probably done better than him a year ago because we'd just been promoted. But now I actually think this is the perfect quality of player to come in at this level, who is more than capable at Championship level and has even played some minutes in Ligue 1. So I'm buzzing with this one. And all in all three of the deadline day signings, I'm absolutely buzzing. Risk-free loans, 2 of them option to buys if they're good. The other one, maybe we can tempt to come if he's good. And yeah, what would I give this window out of 10? I'm going to give this transfer window an 8 out of 10. I would have loved a permanent player, maybe a centre-back, maybe another centre-back, maybe a left-back who can compete with Luke Thomas, although Victor is due back soon, but do you really want Victor in the team? I'm not sure. But all in all, an 8 out of 10 for me. Again, what I just said, what would take it to a 10 out of 10 is if we got rid of Fass, if we've got rid of Winks. Although the Saudi Arabia and Turkish transfer windows are still open, I think we can afford to let Harry Winks go now that we've got Jordan James. I think Bouba Samari, Oliver Skipp, Lewis Page, and Jordan James and Aaron Ramsey, if you go a bit more advanced, I think there's enough there to win the championship on points. Again, excluding point deductions there. So yeah, I want you to all let me know in the comment section below what you think to the window, what you would rate it out of 10. And yeah, we're going to be back with loads of content just because the deadline day is finished, just because the transfer window's over. We have so much content coming up. I'm sat here in a car park in Leicester, pretty grey outside, but in a few weeks' time I will be on the beach in Turkey doing these types of videos. So let me know how you thought to these types of videos as well. But I appreciate all of you. We've hit 26,000 subscribers recently, so big shout out to you all. Big shout out to the 10,000 people that watch the deadline day stream as well. Lots more, like I said, content to come soon. Have a good day. See you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.